And good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Penn State Field Hockey Zoom. We've got head coach Char Morett-Curtiss with us. Char, you wrapped up a non-conference schedule, 2 just quality road wins, and you are now ready for what we had hoped for and what is now going to be the most exciting part of the season, 2 Big Ten games in the postseason. Let's talk about this weekend, wrapping it up. You mentioned to me before we got on record here how good it was to get those games under your belt and get a lot of the bench players some really good playing time.
Yeah, especially at Bucknell. I felt that we were in control of the game from start to finish. Their goalie played well in the very beginning. We weren't getting the ball on net as much as I would have liked, but we still felt confident in our play. And it was great just to get some of the other players in those moments when it was still like 1-0 before the half. Just talk to the team about, look, let's get more pressure on the ball, create those turnovers. And they just came out in the second half, like totally on fire, scoring 3 goals, I think, in 8 minutes in that third quarter. And then just opening up and letting some of the kids that worked so hard during the week and practice to get some quality playing time. Then coming back Friday night, getting ready Saturday morning to head out to Penn State.
Yeah.
We stayed at a beautiful hotel. I felt like the team, they really get along so well. They sing a lot, like on the bus coming back from Bucknell, they were just singing constantly. Pretty funny. But then getting out to Kent State, knowing that it was going to be a very difficult match, a MAC-10, MAC opponent. They have a competitive conference. And so, I felt, again, we had great shots in the first beginning of the first start of the quarter. Fia put a nice backhand in, Anna scored a nice corner. And then we sort of, took the pedal off a little bit, took our foot off the pedal and did not get the quality shots or the number of shots in that second half. But, all the same, came home with a shutout.
Yeah. And I think your team has been playing at such a high level. And they are human, and so sometimes they have those areas of the game where you talk to me after a game or you will mention, boy, they could have done this and they could have done Y. And that's all true. And you come home from a weekend and it's 7-0 over 2 games and you take it and go.
Yep. No, just happy that, they came back from that weekend. We met with the captains today. Yesterday was a day off and they feel good. They feel rested. They're excited about Maryland coming to town, homecoming weekend. The focus is on the game and they're just, they're ready to play. They were doing a white competition. So I think that'll get them in the competition mindset for the week.
Yeah. And it's exciting. So Maryland comes in, they're ranked 2, we're ranked 5. And all that throw out the window because the Big Ten is an absolute storm right now of quality teams. How do you temper? Do you have to keep these girls in the moment? Do you have to keep them just focused on the task at hand and the game plan and what happens on the field? Or do you let them get a little bit excited because it is such a big game?
Yeah, no, we let them get a lot excited. I think with the Maryland team they're just very experienced, a lot of seniors, a couple grad students. So, they're very poised with the ball and they keep they spread the field very well, keep their structure. So we're going to look at film tomorrow. Generally, we look at our scouting opponent on Thursdays. We're going to look at them tomorrow, scout Maryland for a good practice Wednesday, a good practice Thursday, game on Friday.
Are there things you're focusing on for yourself, for your own team that you want to see improve on? I don't want no game plan. I'm not worried about, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But what are the things you're focused on looking to improve for your girls?
I think that our game against Bucknell, we're just very consistent. And I think the backfield to the midfield up to the strikers, I felt that there was a lot more movement from our midfield and our strikers. So I thought there was a little bit more interchange that had both Bucknell and Kent State guessing how we were like building up the play. I'd like to see our corner execution be a little bit more dangerous. It was great seeing Fia's goal on Sunday, just a different style for her, drag instead of a hit and on a nice pull. So I think that we could really focus a little bit more on our corner attack. I lost your video. Yeah.
Sorry about that. We're healthy. Girls seem to be in a great spot emotionally and mentally, and that excitement that this team has. Char, it's carried over to your fan base this year. We talked about this a little bit. we're playing on a field right now that's being enhanced and improved and turned into the beautiful dream you had from the time that, for over a decade now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got 800 fans a game here.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? And do your girls understand what that means?
Yeah, I think they just really appreciate the support that we get. And I think it really is a reflection of our fans, of our alumni, of our donors, of the students. So I just think it's a very unique atmosphere that we have at Penn State. And they just they didn't care whether they were sitting or standing or, obstructed views, seats, whatever. They just come out and they cheer the girls on because I think they love, watching such high level hockey.
And it will be packed Friday night.
Yeah, it will be packed Friday night. Well, it was interesting because I know our coach last year, we were looking at a 12 o'clock game, she wanted it 1 this year. I just felt 6 o'clock game. We got to do it on Friday night, and let's get the crowd there and let's get everybody in a position to watch a great game.
So we're going to bring in Sophia Gladio here in a moment. Everyone knows Sophia. She is a dynamic, generational offensive talent. You have a couple of those on your team this year, and she is special to watch. Talk to me a little bit about what you've seen from her offensively this year as opposed to last year, because as someone looking in offensively, there seems to be an even better mesh with her and her teammates and Mackenzie in particular, and just the flow of the offense this year with her and Mac and Gemma seems so much more in sync.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. But I think with Fia is that she really worked on not always relying on her backhand. Like her backhand is lethal, but when we really reflect on the types of goals she scored this year, a lot came from her forehand. She tipped a goal in, she's done some finesse things in front of the goal, but she's such a power shooter that the goalie has to get back on their heels when she winds up. And I mean, she had those 2 game-winning goals last weekend against Iowa and Lafayette. And, it's just, she's just dangerous in the circle because she's going to shoot. Yeah.
And she's going to shoot. All right. Well, thank you, Char. I know this is a big week for us and a big week for you, and we got to get ready for a good hard day of practice.
Yeah.
Weather looks fabulous for Friday. That's great news. And so I'm excited to see it. And I'll let you go grab Sophia.
Yeah. The one other thing just to mention about Friday's game is it's senior day. So
of course,
we're going to be saying goodbye to, I believe, 7 seniors. They've meant a lot to the program over the past couple of years. Megan and Madison Reese, Grace Wallace, Anna Simon, Gemma Punch, Elena Voss, Emily Farrell, and then I think Bree Baracco and Lauren Delgado were going to walk out. But I feel like even though that's always such an emotional day, especially for the seniors, they're really, really focused for this game against Maryland. So yeah, because
this seems like a group of girls. They'll have their senior moments by themselves as a team at another time.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Char.
Sounds good. Take care, Pat.
Yep. And we're back now with junior Sophia Gladio. Sophia, 2-time All-American, first teamer last year, regional player of the year, academic accolades, 39 points this season, 18 goals, 3 assists. Everyone knows who Sophia is. Thank you for taking a moment to join us.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a big game. I mean, we wanted to get to this point in the season where these last 2 weeks mattered, and boy, do they matter, and it's exciting. How do you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we always talk about how competitive the Big Ten is. And I mean, that's kind of the sole reason why I really wanted to come to Penn State. The Big Ten, it's just, we're gritty. And that's really all it comes down to, just who wants it more. Because I mean, everyone in the Big Ten, is so talented. I mean, we've seen that with these games, teams that might have been overlooked coming back and having huge upset wins. Like it's really just about who shows up on that day. So I think that's what makes it even all the more exciting. And, these last 2 weeks, with the potential of being co-conference champions, like we all know that's all in the back of our heads right now. So just our main focus is just really showing up Friday. We have that confidence. We have all the tools that we need in order to win this game. And I think it's just going out there and performing, just doing what we know how to do.
So how do you stay in the moment? So you're a world-class athlete, a generational talent at the game. And this is a big game. This may be the biggest game you've played other than maybe the NCAA game since you got to Penn State. How do you temper that? How do you stay in the moment, allow enough excitement to come in to kind of help give you that extra burst of energy, but just stay in the moment? How do you manage that?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because that's definitely something I've been trying to work on, because it's easy to, kind of let your mind wander and get ahead of yourself. And, although this game, like you said, is one of the biggest games that we've had and, my past 3 years being here, something I just try to focus on to remind myself. And I was texting my dad earlier today. I was like, I'm in class. I'm so nervous. Shouldn't be texting, but my mind's just wandering. And, he's my go-to guy when my nerves start to kind of get out of control. And he's just, take a deep breath, take things one day at a time. It's Tuesday, game's not till Friday, just focus on practice, focusing on having a good practice, focus in class when I'm in class, just doing, doing things, 1 minute at a time if I really need to break it down to that point. And just, just when I catch myself zoning out, thinking about the game, just bringing myself back to where I am in that moment and like the things that I need to do in order to prepare myself, because it is really easy to go and wander. And with such a big weekends coming up, like it's just really important to stay grounded, take things one day at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's life. That's a good life lesson for you.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
Well, this year, and it's the same cast of players. We lost Emma, obviously, on offense, big loss, but it's the same core of offensive players. And to me, it seems like our offense has gelled. There's a flow to it. It is in sync. And I think that might be the process if it's just a year later down the road for you girls. But how do you see it as a person in the middle of what's happening?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, obviously losing Emma was a big loss, but I think one thing we did really well is just, and something we focus on a lot, especially as an attacking unit, just staying connected. So when we're in games that we're not really, you can tell when we're not connected, we're not producing, we're not getting corners, we're not scoring. So we're able to see these, problems in the game and like make those changes. So I think just the biggest thing is we've just connected a lot, and we've just played with each other for so long at this point. I've been playing with these same girls since I was a freshman, and they haven't gone anywhere. So I think we just really, which is amazing. So I think we've just really grown as a team and a unit. And, with Matt coming in last year, she fit right in. So that wasn't really a hard adjustment to make. Right. And I think we've just really connected well. And I think that also goes along and everyone knows their role. So obviously I like to score a lot of goals. That's kind of known. That's in the statistics, in the articles. And so I kind of get a little frustrated when I see some articles saying things about how the other forwards may not be scoring as much, because it's just, that may statistically be true, but if you're actually sitting down watching the game, you can just see how much of a difference they make. I would not be scoring all these goals if it wasn't for Chris and for Gemma. And
that's the point. That's exactly the point.
And you have every team has that goal scorer. You look at Erin Matson, but like, look who sets her up, look at the people around her. And so I think it's just kind of frustrating to see that these girls aren't getting the recognition that they deserve. And I think it's been working, excuse my language, they've been working their asses off. And, it's time for them to be recognized for that. Cause like I said, I wouldn't be where I am without them. So
absolutely. And I think, and as a person who's been doing this for a while, what I can tell you and your teammates is never worry about what anyone else is saying. You have your family, and it's right there in that locker room, and that's all that matters. So it's interesting, and it's really refreshing to hear you say that and to hear you reflect on that. That's fabulous. Okay, so let's talk about you and your game specifically then. Did you come into this season with one specific area of your game that you wanted to improve upon, that you wanted to add, change, or get better at?
Yeah, there's two things that come to mind when you say that. First thing was just kind of, I struggle mentally with anxiety, just as a person in general. I struggle with anxiety, not just performance anxiety, but, just situational. Everyone has it. But so my thing, I just really wanted to focus on being able to, recognize it and accept that I have performance anxiety, and it's a very common thing, and to try to normalize it. So I've been working with Adriana, our sports psych, a lot about how to go into games and just understand that I'm gonna get nervous. It's gonna happen, but how can I build off of that? How can I improve myself to the point so I'm not zoning out in games and psyching myself out and overthinking? So I think that's been a really big thing. And, I'm still working on it, still work in progress, no one's perfect. So that's definitely something that I've been working on. And I think from the beginning of the season till now, it's definitely helped a lot. Still want to, get to the point where I can control my nerves a little bit more from the start to the end, and not just the second half to the end. So, but it's definitely getting better. I'm, learning some new things that I can help myself calm down a little bit. And the second thing that I've been working on is, I know my freshman, sophomore year, majority of my goals are scored on my backhand, and
There it is.
there it is. So I think that's pretty much known by everyone that's ever watched me play. I'm really good on my backhand. And so I've actually been really proud of myself, because this year I have actually not scored that many on my backhand. I mean, I still have that, but I've really grown in that aspect. I've been scoring in different ways. And I think that not only makes me a better player, but it's harder for other teams to scout me now, because I've had girls come up to me like, yeah, like our coach just tells us to get her on her forehand because she's just really good on her backhand. And it's like, all right, well, now they're going to tell you, because I have my toolbox a little bit more. So it's definitely like refreshing knowing that I do have those different goal scoring skills. And that's something Char, LB, and I have talked about since my freshman year. Like, what can we do to make me a more lethal forward? And it's just, being able to score in many different ways. So I'm just definitely really happy with the way that's been going. So
awesome. Well, and you can see it. I mean, we as fans can see it, and it's really exciting to watch. And you're right, it makes you a multi-threatening knife in the pocket. That's great. So last question, and we'll step away from field hockey. Your major again is?
Early childhood education.
And how's it going?
Awesome. Yeah. So I declared last spring. I kind of always knew I wanted to work with kids, and it's just kind of been my passion, not just through coaching. I mean, I've given private lessons over the past few summers, which is just so fun, refreshing, giving back to my community back at home. But yeah, no, I just love like helping kids grow. And I just love like my teachers when I was growing up. Like, I've always looked up to them, and I've always felt they were always so underappreciated for the things that they've done for not only me, but the people around me. So yeah, no. And last summer I worked as an assistant teacher in a Head Start program, which was really, really humbling. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. The staff that I worked with was amazing. And yeah, it's just a very rewarding job to have. And I'm really looking forward to, after my field hockey career, once I'm done with that, if I ever am, but to be able to give back to kids in that way. So
that's awesome. All right. Well, that's fantastic, man. It's always great to talk with you. Thank you for taking the time today, and the busiest of our weeks coming up. So I know we got a big day of practice today, and tomorrow are going to be tough ones. That's our Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's going to be cold for you. So that's nice.
That's all right. It's going to be beautiful this weekend. So we can
Exactly. Well, Sophia, thank you so much. Good luck Friday. Looking forward to seeing y'all at the field Friday. Let's go get them.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
See ya.